holy is someone in my house right now, you know?
Sorry, that was me, man.
Yeah.
I was just scouting you out before the podcast
Prior,
to make sure
yeah.
you'd be a good guest.
One, two, three.
All right, that's a podcast. Perfect.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the clapping
All right.
podcast.
Yeah.
Does anyone here on the call have any questions before we get started?
Why
If
are
you
we
want
here?
to, retweet the promo tweet to get some of your fans in here, because we do have like Q&A segments for people that, if they want to ask you
Oh,
questions.
okay. Well,
Oh, it's your call.
no,
So
it's
call,
okay. Yeah, I'll just, I'll let them know after it goes live for sure.
Oh
And then-
yeah, because you probably don't want them to find this Discord account. Yeah.
No, it's
Okay.
it's not a big
Fair enough.
deal. It's just it's probably less chaotic.
Oh, that makes
That's
sense.
true.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and let everyone know. I already let my co-host know at a time.
Mhm.
I'm dealing with a possible frozen shoulder at the moment, so my energy is going to be a little lower than normal. So I'm actually have Tresten and DJ take the lead here, and I'm gonna have them get started by opening the show. So go ahead, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have an opening?
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the first podcast. That's right, we have a YouTube channel where we have cool visual gags and more for the audio listeners out there. Hey, let's read. Welcome, and thank you for being our guest today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's all I got,
Go ahead.
guys.
Oh,
Okay.
Well,
It's
you
all
said
good.
do an intro. I mean, I could just bust out
All right.
some questions
I'll-
for you
here-
real quick.
I'll go ahead and I'll get us started. Okay. So Joel,
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So
Hold on. There we go. Okay.
I am a host of a YouTube channel / podcast where I narrate scary stories anywhere from people's jump scare stories. Anywhere from basically people's true scary experiences, like their personal experiences with like stalkers, to the paranormal, as well as delving into true crime kind of documentary style cases as well.
And how did you get started with that in the first place?
Yeah, so I wanted, this started all the way back in like 2014, and friends had kind of done some comedy YouTube and various other dives into YouTube, and I had always seen YouTube and heard about like how it was you see people, I'm sure like many of us, we see people like PewDiePie, doing really well within the realm of YouTube, and then also the idea that you can make a living from it, which was crazy. And I'm sure everybody kind of wants to break away from the 9 to 5. And so I thought, maybe I should give this a whirl. And through the great assistance of my old roommates, they taught me how to use editing software, recording software, all that kind of stuff. And I thought to myself, YouTube wanted a lot of content, the daily uploads, all that kind of stuff. And so I thought maybe I could read stories. I didn't think a lot of people did that on YouTube at that point. And over a course of just kind of trial and error with all sorts of things from Wikipedia pages to like classic science fiction and that kind of thing, I stumbled across a new community that I didn't even know existed. It was called the Creepypasta horror narrator community, and saw channels you guys probably familiar with, like Mr. Creepypasta
Mhm.
and
Oh,
yeah,
Oh.
folks like that, yeah. And I saw their channels doing really well, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, this is where the market is for reading. So I thought, okay, I'll start reading some scary stories, and yeah, it just sort of evolved over time into the true scary experiences that were submitted by people on Reddit, people over, now it's like people over email, and just kind of also saw that true crime was kind of within that interest as well. So I figured I'd dabble in that a bit as well.
It seems to me like you kind of lucked out also, by the way, because you happen to have a certain thing about you, which is that your voice is very well suited for this. So
It's
kind of lucked out.
it definitely, yeah. If you go back through the old videos, you can definitely see there was a bit of an evolution to try to find the spooky guy voice. You know what I mean? And I'm sure even here, I probably sound a little bit different than what people might be used to.
Honestly, I feel like I should be paying to hear this voice right now.
Right?
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
It's soothing. It's soothing.
Yeah,
Thank
and from what I've researched about you, you didn't have any formal training for that because I was going through some of your interviews and you had mentioned that you're actually a medical student before you went YouTube full time.
Yeah, I was in 2008. And to 2012, I went to nursing school and got my bachelor's in nursing, and then basically in 2013 started working within that hospital system, and yeah, just kind of it was definitely an evolution for sure, jumping from that. But yeah, no formal training or anything of that nature, though I've taken some voice acting sort of fun classes online and that kind of thing more recently, and mad respect to anybody who puts that time in, because it is definitely a lot harder than one would expect.
For sure. I think that's kind of one of the cool things about YouTube, though, is that you don't necessarily. I mean, training in certain areas helps with when it comes to like the logistics of the channel and stuff. But it is kind of a platform where if you're lucky, you can just kind of dive right in and do what comes naturally to you.
Exactly. It's an amazing phenomenon within society, because it's like so often where it was all this kind of stuff dominated by network television and various other groups, you know what I mean, that you almost had to know somebody to have the opportunity. And now it's just like, hey, throw yourself out there, and if the algorithmic gods have blessed you, you might stand a chance there. And I was very fortunate.
Oh yeah, I was going to ask about that actually, but I do want to make sure my co-hosts get a chance to butt in once in a while as well. Do you guys have anything?
I do. This is kind of continuing what I had asked, but are there situations during your readings where what you learned from nursing school kind of applies to what you're reading, or no?
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on the topic that might be covered. Like if it is with, like, I might be familiar with like just medical verbiage, things of that nature, terminology, and maybe as well as just certain things that people might be going through. But yeah, it was, the only crossover, I remember, coworkers of mine, when I would show them my channel, they'd be like, oh, wow, I never thought about it, but you really do have a voice that makes us and the patients feel very relaxed and that kind of thing. So, it's, there's a little bit of that, I guess, the sense of like, because surprisingly, a lot of the stories, even though they are scary, people kind of use it in a semi ASMR form, as I'm sure you guys have a channel or something that you might fall asleep to a lot. And that,
welcome back to an ASMR video.
Spaghetto here is like really, he watches a lot of ASMR videos.
Oh,
Hey,
cool.
hey,
Okay.
A lot.
Hey, you don't have
Yeah,
to out me like that.
a lot.
Bro,
Who do you
chill.
listen to?
Oh shit. Okay, let me pull up the list, my guy. Hold up. Hold up.
Yeah, he's subscribed to like hundreds of them.
Oh,
It's
nice.
apparently the only thing that helps him sleep.
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
Yeah, I have a lot of really bad like night terrors, so
Okay.
I'll just rapid fire. I'll give you some. Yeah, I think
Spaghetto, you're forgetting about the best one.
What?
Let's read ASMR.
Right. Oh yeah, that
Ain't-
does exist.
Oh yeah, the L channel. Yeah. Wait, am I subscribed? I think I'm.
You are now.
It's all
There you
good.
go.
I only have.
I am now. Thank you.
There's only about 4 videos on that one, and it was just sort of a foray that I wanted to give a whirl, just because people had always asked for it, and it didn't quite. I didn't quite have the time for it compared to the normal channel, and I just figured, maybe it's best to put all my energy into my normal upload videos and stuff.
I'm kind of
Fair enough.
I'm thinking, I wonder if somebody's written a creepypasta about like a haunted ASMR channel where you get cursed if you start watching it.
Yeah, where you can't fall asleep unless you listen to this
Oh, yeah.
or Or maybe you like the
Mhm.
second you stop listening to it, you get sick or something weird. You know?
So that's what's wrong with
Has
me.
anyone? Oh, has anyone written like a creepypasta about Let's Read?
Specifically, I don't think so. I know some people like there's people who have some, stranger fiction, I would say, kind of, that they joke about, like in my, like I'll record my stories through live stream on the channel a lot, and people will say like, hey, I'm writing not that this is kind of inappropriate, but it's like they'll be like, I'm writing some smut, about you or whatever, and I'm
Whoa, bro, chill.
It's okay.
This is a kid-friendly
this is pretty
It's
R-rated.
okay.
No,
You can cut that. Out.
This is a very, very explicit show. This is fine.
Okay,
Yeah, you
okay.
can
Yeah,
you
that
can
was just-
mention
yeah.
stuff like that. That's fine.
So there's a little bit of a crossover with that. Whereas, to me, I'm sure, like, I always joke during the streams, I'm like, half the stuff you guys say, if I was like a female streamer, you guys would be banned right now. But I just have,
Yeah,
I just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Mr.
a good
Daddy Reed is like, I'll let you guys pop off.
Right.
I think a good like idea for
All right.
like a meta creepypasta would be like it would be about your actual face reveal, and when people see your face, it's cursed and it like haunts them or whatever. You come out of the screen, you have like hyper realistic eyes.
Don't worry, I'm writing it right now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, get AI in that.
I saw you. You apparently did a face reveal 7 years ago, but it wasn't
Oh, really?
actually.
It was April.
It didn't
Fool's,
actually
yeah.
reveal the face.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Got him.
That's okay though.
Hey, if he
Everyone
wants,
has to show their face.
if he wants to do another face reveal, I'll give him full permission to just steal my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
No, don't,
That's the best
don't
way to
do
do
the
it.
face reveal because it'd be like looking at the face of God and then you die.
Right. Yeah.
That's true.
It can be tough.
Yeah.
It's like
God, distinguish upon me the 10 Commandments.
when
What
you
do
open
command?
when you open the Ark of the Covenant and your face just melts off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what happened. Yeah, I was saying it happened to Dream.
Wait,
so.
isn't there gonna be a new Indiana Jones?
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a thing?
It's coming
July
out pretty soon.
June 29th. I'm so excited. June 29th.
It'll be the last one. The last one with Harrison Ford too.
Yeah,
hopefully I can
I'm
afford
not-
the tickets.
Yeah, patreon.com/T1podcast. By the way, if you guys have been tuning in for a while and you want to help support the show in a way that gets you cool benefits like a funny role in the Discord, a patron-only chat, and more, including early access to all of Tresten's videos on the Spaghetti YouTube channel and the podcast episodes.
Yeah, I think I dropped
early
like
access.
10 on the Patreon earlier. I fucking just hammered that
Yeah.
shit out.
Yeah, there's a lot of early content for you if you guys want to check it out at patreon.com/T1podcast. It really helps support the show. I did notice, by the way, the name. Okay, this has been said before. Guys. But okay, Indiana Jones and the dial of destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Dial. That's a little mundane. I don't know. Was like the number pad of doom taken. I don't know. It's just a little bit quaint, but I'll give it a shot.
The
It's,
rotary phone.
It's the first
Yeah.
Indiana Jones movie that is not being directed by Spielberg, and George Lucas doesn't have involvement with it either. I think the director of it is the guy that did the like Logan, like the Wolverine movie.
Oh, okay. That one was
That's
pretty good.
promising though, because I like Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Logan was very, very good. It was dark. It was gritty. And there was boobs in it. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Was there really?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is
Yeah,
still
there was full on boobs, my guy.
it's a Disney
Well,
movie.
was
like
Logan's.
Logan's pecs don't really count.
Oh, right. Okay.
No.
got
Logan was
gyno.
driving Logan was driving a limousine, and then there was these crazy girls, and they popped their titties out for good old Logan, and he was like, haha.
Oh, good for him.
They had to get the R rating in there somewhere.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah. I remember what were they talking about? Like, wasn't Professor X talking about like Taco Bell or something? Or I really remember that movie. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Oh.
Little advertisement.
Anyway,
Okay.
Dial of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
It could be good. I guess we'll see. I don't know.
I
has-
can't wait to see
has-
the app of prophecy.
It has good people in it. It has like Mads Mikkelsen and
Oh,
like
yeah.
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
It's also
Love
John.
Mads.
It has Antonio Banderas for some reason. That's great.
I think it's John Williams' last movie that he's going to score to before he retires.
Well, you think that's true?
No, that's
He
what
is
he
getting
said.
pretty old, my guy.
He is retiring.
Ah.
Like he's
Oh, okay.
is he in his 90s?
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of these people in movies say that they're going to retire. Like these big like auteurs and like these composers are like,
Oh,
yeah,
like,
this is gonna be my last movie, and then it's really like my last 10 movies.
Like Hayao
Like, I don't know.
Miyazaki, right? Where he said like years ago that he was going to retire with this movie, but now he's releasing another
Yeah.
movie, but he says he's retiring after that. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
He could just say, just kidding, and we'd all be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Haha, just kidding. I didn't mean to retire, guys. Go watch my new
Yeah.
movie.
Or like
Okay, cool.
Tarantino says
Yeah.
he's going to retire after his next movie too, because he only wants to do like I think it was like 11 movies.
Yeah. What's his
So-
next one?
I mean,
I think he's trying to.
What is it?
I think he's doing. I've heard he might be doing a Star Trek movie.
Oh, I think that got shelved.
Okay.
oh,
He was considering
All right.
doing Kill Bill 3.
oh,
Okay.
that'd be interesting.
say, when did Tarantino last film? The Movie Critic. That's what he's
Oh,
doing.
the movie critic. Yeah, he said he wanted to cast somebody he's never worked with before for the role.
Oh, that'll be a challenge for the guy. He tends to kind of stay close to home.
No,
with
he
his-
Hold on.
wanted to
Casting
challenge
choices.
himself.
Anyway,
I
guys,
gotta
let's
look
talk.
something up.
Let's talk about Let's Read. By the way,
Yeah.
this is
Actresses with
It's all
nice
good.
feet. Tarantino
Okay.
movie cast.
No, I'm sorry. Like I would actually want Lars to bring up whatever topic he's been waiting to ask. So
Oh no, you guys go ahead. That's fine. I was just trying to redirect it back
okay, Tresten.
because
Then
we're here with our.
yeah. Just
Oh yeah,
ask,
Tresten, you said you had like 12 questions, by the way, for our guest. So let's.
Yeah, this kind of stems off of what we were discussing earlier, but like what specifically inspired you to start your like podcast / channel and centered around horror content? Was it more like opportunistic, or was it just like a creative outlet hobby that just turned into something more?
Yeah, I definitely always had a degree of desire to do creative things, and prior to going to school for nursing, I really wanted to get into like video game concept art and things of that nature, but kind of from familial pressure, they're like, if you go to art school, you can pretty much discount yourself being supported by us as you do so, and when you're younger, you don't, you got a lot of dreams of things that you want to go for and that kind of thing. But even though I was fortunate to be able to make it through school, it was very difficult. I still at times would just do creative things on the side, whatever it might be. And because I had people around me in my immediate vicinity working on YouTube, and there was that desire to break into it and have that creative outlet that you could also have, a financial return on and support yourself. I was like, that's the dream, and it really was kind of just like following the market, you know what I mean? I wanted to do this reading and making reading videos. In 2014, I had no idea what a podcast was. I was aware of the term, but I guess it wasn't as popular as it is now. And, I was just kind of fortunate that I stumbled across into this realm of horror narration that I did and had some success with it. And there were a lot of super awesome people within that community who they were able to do it was easy to do collaborations with each other because all you did was just like, oh yeah, send me the audio and I'll incorporate it into, my compilation of creepypastas or whatever, and then kind of build an audience from that. And then honestly, it was about 2016, 17 that things really started to take off with the true scary story concept, and where it was more, where even though I had the audience, that sort of pushed things in the algorithmic sense out to a larger audience that built from there and was more self-sustaining.
I have a question
Yes.
about something you just said, by the way, which kind of popped out to me, which is that you mentioned that there's a fairly long tail between you starting things up and then you actually finding success.
Yeah.
And I think it was like from 2014 till about 2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, how did you manage your expectations during that? And how did you deal with the lengthy period of time that it took?
It was tough because I had set some pretty high standards for myself as far as content output. And because a lot of people said, like, consistency is key for success on YouTube, because it's like if you're not putting out content, a lot of the times people feel kind of irrelevant, especially whenever they're kind of just starting out. Now, there are some channels, I'm sure, that you can see they got huge Patreon following and they can put out a video once a month or half a year, whatever it might be. But I'll be honest with you, there were a lot of times where even, I would say all the way up to like 25,000 subscribers, where I just wasn't seeing a degree of success. Because I kind of fluctuated around a lot with like changing up my audience with the different stuff that I covered. Whether, from the science fiction stuff, the Wikipedia stuff, that didn't gain a lot of followers, and then there were times where I would post like Let's Plays, you know what I mean? Thinking that I could somehow transition people into that realm and be entertaining based on personality or whatever. But that kind of would kind of tank views. And obviously, as you guys are probably familiar, like whenever you do something that deviates a little too much and your audience isn't a fan of it, you see the views kind of drop off and subscribers drop off. But yeah, it definitely takes, well, the one piece of advice I got from somebody, they're like, listen, if you're persistent in the realm of YouTube and you keep sticking with it and there's an audience that wants to, consume that type of content, you will eventually find some audience or some degree of relevancy that is able to potentially support yourself financially. And so that kind of just motivated me, along with like not really being a fan of my work within healthcare, to just keep trying, you know what I mean? And keep reaching out and making connections with other creators to sort of collaborate and, kind of cross-pollinate with your audience and that kind of thing. And yeah, it definitely took a mental toll on me for a while of like, will it work out? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Go ahead. Okay.
Oh no, I was gonna say that was pretty much just like, yeah, I mean,
oh, okay.
and then it kind of just did, you know what I mean? After a period of time, and I found the niche, and I found the sort of upload. Like, I think it was 2017 specifically where I said, okay, January 1st, I am going to upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I'm going to have that, I'm going to, kind of religiously have people be aware that that's when stuff comes out. So I, might not have to rely on the notification system to go to people or whatever, so that they just know this is when my narrator goes up. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. I did want to mention that I've been heavily deviating from what I initially founded my channel on. And it has hit my views and like subscriber engagement heavily, just because the content I was making before was taking a toll, and I just didn't enjoy it, and I really wanted to branch out and try new things, which as a creative output, I'm very happy. Like, I'm way happier than I was making videos before, but my views and everything is pretty much just like, it's like ground zero, even though I'm like at 20 something thousand subscribers. And it's almost like I've reset, even though I have a sub count.
Mm-hmm.
So hearing your story with that is very encouraging, because I'm putting pretty much everything into this at this moment, and I'm really happy with the type of content I'm making now. And for the first time ever, I've enjoyed like rewatching it, and that's like a big step for me, because the old content was fine, but it wasn't, like, in my opinion, like something that was super rewatchable. It was like one and done. So with that,
I think Tresten, you can probably just hear that it really does just take time.
No, I do agree. I'm just saying that, like, his process and what he's saying is true, because I decided in April that I was going to start uploading every day, and I've been doing it religiously every day, have not missed a day. And I've had a consistent like 40 to 50 people tuned in to those videos every day, knowing that they were going to be there. It's
starting again.
Yeah, it's a small number, but like, if you take all of those people and put them in the same room as you, that's an insane amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm also looking here, by the way, on Joel's channel, and I'm seeing that he definitely has that same consistency here, where every few days there is guaranteed a new video to watch. So that reliability is probably very attractive to people. And the numbers look pretty consistent at this point. So
Yeah.
you must be doing something right. So
Yeah, I saw
yeah,
I
for
saw
sure.
what your upload schedule is, Joel. And when I was putting together the research notes, like I always look to see if there's at least like a Wikitubia article about the person, and I did find yours, but I think it's out of date because
Yeah.
there's barely information, and what information is there? It just says that you don't have a set upload schedule.
Oh, that's
So like
funny.
it's like that's
Yeah.
not accurate. like
Yeah.
I'll post it right here.
I have a feeling that most Wikitubia pages are written by a fan of the YouTube channel in question, and
I update
they're usually
ours.
very nice, but they're not like super. They're not super accurate necessarily all the time.
Yeah,
They're just a little resource to say, hey, this exists,
I-
and
I did want to point out because you mentioned you tried to foray into Let's Play content a long time ago. Was like the thought process for that was like, oh, I already have a channel called Let's Read, so I'll just make a channel called Let's Play.
Well, whenever I named myself Let's Read, that was kind of like kind of based off of the Let's Play idea, where I was like, oh, just nobody's done a Let's Read, and it's there was many times where you kind of have to like reimagine yourself, take a step back, wonder to yourself, is this formula working? Should I start a new channel and just go in a completely different direction in the hopes that maybe the algorithm will favor something completely different and that kind of thing? And it was sort of just a selfish perspective on my part, where I thought, oh, this audience is here for it, therefore let me completely switch it up on them and hope that they stick around, but that clearly was not because I remember one time somebody you always look at the negative comments. You might have a sea of positive comments, which is I'm very fortunate of, as a lot of the comments in my community, they're super positive, but there will be negative ones that stick with you. And I remember just one of them back then, whenever they saw the Let's Plays that I was putting up, and they're like, bro, you are literally destroying your channel right now. And I remember at the time I thought to myself, like, oh, that's a bit of an overreaction. To just me, because I didn't, it really took me a long time also to kind of like take myself seriously as like a content creator, and kind of being, this being my identity as well. So when I did that, when I saw his comment, I just kind of thought, I was like, geez, that's a bit much. But then looking back on it, I'm like, that person had a certain perspective on the grander scheme of what YouTube is, to kind of advise me, and in not the nicest way, but definitely in the more practical way, that you should stick to what you're good at, essentially.
So if that's what you got from that comment, I got a hate comment the other day saying, wow, you've gotten fat. What's the advice from that comment?
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Joel,
that's
why Joel hasn't revealed his face, because he doesn't want to get comments like that where they comment on his weight or something.
yeah.
No, for real. I mean,
Yeah.
like it's terrifying. The idea of like I respect anybody who puts themselves out there, because that's like a variable of like psychology for myself that I don't think that I could deal with. You know what I mean? It's like somebody hyper analyzing something about me, physically, because there's just certain things in that scenario. Obviously you can get in better shape, blah blah blah, not you specifically, but just anybody or whatever, but then there's other things that that will stick with you, and sometimes they can be motivating, you know what I mean, but other times they can be you can lose a little bit of sleep over it.
Yeah, because there's intrinsic features that you can't change about yourself too.
Right.
So
also, like, and I feel like as an outsider here, as a third party to Joel's channel, I feel like I this is probably something that you would agree with, which is that it's not really the point of your channel. Is like face cam. That doesn't really seem like it's
right.
So
And a lot of people
that can jive with certain content, but
yeah, like in the live streams, a lot of people will say like, when are you going to show your face? When are you going to show your face? And I always make a joke out of it when they say face. I say feet, and I'm like, man, you guys are obsessed with wanting to see my feet. I don't understand. So it's just kind of a meme there. But then I also, from time to time, we were like, listen, if my face was marketable, I would go be a model. You know what I mean? But right now, I think the purpose of the channel is just listening to me to do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, also, there is something to that where you can't put that back in, like, you can't close Pandora's box again.
Yeah.
with that.
Look what
So
happened to
it's-
Dream.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
jeez.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Yeah.
I find
Well,
it.
poor as in he's probably still like a multimillionaire.
Right. Yeah.
obviously.
Poor rich guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I find it funny
But,
that
yeah.
I've received a lot of positive feedback using the face cam for the first time in my content,
Mhm.
really in my history, and yet the one comment
What,
saying "Wow, you've gotten fat" still sticks out to me, just because.
Jeez. Right.
I'm
It was
just
so
like,
How it
negative.
goes.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, he used to be like
Well-
really unhealthily skinny. So.
Yeah,
He used to be like
Okay.
that's
tiny.
yeah.
Also, I feel like Tresten as like a counterpoint, like for your content, obviously it's very attractive because the idea is with Let's Play content as opposed to Let's Read is it's really about the personality of the person playing. Because anyone could go watch like a Pikmin or Vampire Survivors gameplay, but the idea is that you're really watching it for the person who's
Mhm.
behind the
Exactly.
camera.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, so
I've been heavily utilizing that fact, especially with like doing signature things with the camera and like
for sure. Yeah.
introducing like gags visually. It's so much fun to like think about like a visual thing you can do just to make a somewhat boring scene if it was just audio, like an outro song. It's fun to just like flail your body around to the music,
Yeah.
then just be like, so the song's it's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, I thought about that a lot of times with like those video essay channels. Like anytime I had ever gone into the realm of documentary, I'm like, you always need people need a visual jump to something. And
Mhm.
say you're doing true crime, and I was always kind of jealous of the people with true crime where they can like, just cut to their face and talk about the body that was found in the car or something for a little while. Instead, like, but for me, if I did that, I was like, I would have to go and dig through like some B-roll footage and blah blah. You know what I mean? It's just another added layer. Sometimes with your face, it's an added layer of just like sort of visual fidelity that people's brains can occupy themselves with.
Mhm.
For sure.
I got
By the
you.
way-
I'll send you footage. Just dub it.
Okay, yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
Loud plane going by. This is not a great time. I'm doing a podcast.
Yeah, shut the
Please-
fuck up, airlines.
Please
Fuck
leave.
you.
Please
Sorry,
head
sorry.
somewhere else. The skies are your oyster.
Sorry, Mr. Reed. I get a little quirky at night.
Oh no, you're
Well,
good.
Okay. Anyway,
I do.
Well-
I have seen that you have often collaborated with people that do sort of more of the visual thing. Like I've seen your videos that you did with Blame It on George.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. George was great. He was one of the. It was him and That Creepy Reading. If you guys are familiar with him,
Yep.
he also does some documentary stuff. Like they were like some of my best friends, and and still are. You know what I mean? Like as far as just giving me a shot. You know what I mean? They liked the voice. They liked the abilities I had, and I think at that time George was doing a lot of kind of incorporating other narrators to help guide whatever story he was trying. Talking about lost media, all that kind of stuff. And I was fortunate where I was able to kind of exist in his circle for a while, and I got to work with like him. If you might be familiar with like Tat's Top Videos, gave me a shot as well. That was very kind of them, and all sorts of people that within that community that are really really nice. And I don't do as many collaborations as much anymore because I guess one thing I noticed, like as you get bigger, to do collaborations with people, it's not so much as just like, hey, let me hit you up over Twitter or whatever and say, hey, I like your stuff. Would you want to work together? And then you're just like, sure. Now it's getting to like the business realm. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's like you kind of have to
Yeah.
provide them with some degree of incentive that they would benefit, I guess, from a collaboration. Not that they would say that, but I kind of understand it from that perspective.
yeah. Other thanks for not doing that with us.
No. I enjoy just chit chatting. Yeah.
So, Mr. Reed, do you want to join me and Lars for some horror videos? Just hit me up. Shameless plug.
Oh, this is very uncomfortable.
No, you're good, you're good.
Let's not. All right.
I'm a
actually-
pro at making people uncomfortable.
You really are.
Oh yeah.
To bring things back to the realm of comfort, by the way, I do have a question, which is, I feel like kind of the obvious question here, which is that, is this something that you would like to do indefinitely? And if not, where would you like to go from here with your
You know,
career on the platform?
I was I was thinking about that actually more recently, and the fact that I was able to kind of seamlessly transition the YouTube channel over into podcasts, because a lot of people have been asking about that. And so I take like old content. I work with somebody who's really good with like audio remastering and making it sound great. And basically, just been uploading that over to all the podcasts on a weekly basis. And, it seems as if though podcasting overall is sort of, it has a very strong, future potential. So, and looking at some of my sort of analytics, I was fortunate that my podcast in a short period of time transitioning from YouTube has reached some decent charting within different true genres like true crime within podcasts. And so I do think that this is something that I would like to do as long as I can, you know what I mean? Voice willing, and
sure.
There's a lot of really, really talented voice people, especially within like just dubbing and all that kind of stuff, who are like, didn't get their like big successes till they were like 50 or 60 years old. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they've just kind of been honing their craft for so long. And the fact that I'm, at this point, I'm very thankful. But I do hope that the realm of voiceover and potentially voice acting at some point, I hope that can be an evolution of sorts over time, and at the very least, the maintenance of what I currently have going.
You did mention, by the way, that voice willing, and just as a little cheeky little question, let's say that voice is not willing starting tomorrow. What would you do?
Right. Yeah. I guess. Well, I would have a large backlog of content to remaster and put on podcasts. So that would probably buy me about a year.
Yeah.
You also,
so I would continue to put that out. But
you could potentially also clone it at this point.
That's a good point
that's
too.
Where the technology is.
I thought about that. I'm like, I've always been curious about. I'm like, is AI going to replace me here soon?
Yeah.
I think that's definitely a strong probability, as it seems to be a sort of exponential growth within the AI realm.
I don't know why, but
Yeah.
when Laura said voice willing, I was just imagining like tomorrow you wake up and suddenly you just sound like Mickey Mouse for no reason.
Oh boy, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
By the way,
Australian Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
I'm mentioning in the DMs, we got about maybe 15 minutes left here. Tresten was saying he specifically had a couple questions he was trying to get to.
Sure.
I'm going to let him barrel through here.
Yes.
Go ahead, bud.
Floor is yours.
Okay. Sorry, my eyes aren't working. What the fuck?
Oh.
Okay, eyes. Okay, sorry. Blurry vision. Okay. So, Mr. Reed, has there been like any personal like scary experiences you've had that's influenced your content in any way?
I guess the interesting thing is within, like, a lot of people say like, oh, what's your favorite horror movie? What's, like, were you super inspired by horror things, and to then get into that realm? And honestly, I feel like I didn't become much of aware of horror related entertainment until after I was involved in it and kind of existing in those communities and that kind of thing. And though, I almost find myself to be more of a casual horror fan, when good movies come out, like Hereditary, or, I always say like, right, like I always say I'm a huge fan of like The Shining, you know what I mean? I'm a big fan of those movies.
Basic bitch horror.
No, for sure. It definitely is a classic, but but the thing that I enjoy most about it is just, I love symbology and, foreshadowing and all that kind of stuff. So like the more secrets that a horror movie can pack into itself, in a message that's, stronger than just sort of a jump scare or a loud or a bunch of violins or something like that, that to me is very impressive.
I like how those kinds of movies they slowly build up the sense of dread and like the terror, where it's not like immediately throwing jump scares at you. It's just like, it just gives you a feeling of horror, if that makes any sense. Where it's like in The Shining.
TJ,
what?
We're talking about horror, not whores.
Oh
my god. Okay.
You're Okay.
What I'm saying is
Continue.
like The Shining doesn't immediately blast horrifying things at you. It just like it kind of builds itself over
Yeah.
the entirety of the movie, where that like the Overlook Hotel, there's like something wrong with it, and it's just like there's this presence that's just
Yeah.
kind of malicious that's influencing Jack Nicholson's character, and that's the kind of horror I tend to like. I mean,
Yeah.
I do like some of the cheesy stuff because it's fun to watch, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but also I've mentioned this on the channel several times now that it's I have a disdain for the jump scare, especially as a crutch.
Yeah.
I think there are movies where it's used very, very well, I think, in that it really earns that moment. A good example of that, I would say, would be the Exorcist 3. There is a jump scare at one point in that movie where it's during the nurse station scene. If you guys haven't seen it, just go take a look. And it does well because the tension of the scene actually builds up to it. One of my least favorite tropes in horror in general is just the tendency to not really have any sort of actual tension that builds up and just rely on the jump scare as the thing that makes it quote unquote scary.
Yeah, like
And
the
just
fake out jump scares where like a cat pops out or something, and it plays like
Or
the
like,
horror
yeah,
it's just-
thing. Yeah,
You ever see Drag Me to Hell?
I
Tresten
have not,
has.
but I'm
Oh, never
familiar with it.
Never mind.
It's a little bit older, but that movie, it becomes like you eventually just become desensitized towards, because the whole thing, just from beginning to end, is just loud banging drums or whatever it is they're using to amplify. Because most of the time you're more afraid of like the sound, kind of like a Pavlov dog type scenario where it's like here's the string instruments and then here's the bang, so you're anticipating it like a gunshot or whatever.
That's what I've heard about that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exhausting by the end.
Yeah,
so that's
I hate to say it, but I'm a bit of a junkie when it comes to horror. So if it gets my heart pumping, I still tend to just be like, "Oh, that was a decent experience."
Oh no, for sure. It's like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, like was it amazing? No, but it was still fun, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Some
I guess it's like
was that Lars?
sorry,
Or no,
it's well, it doesn't really. Yeah, but it's like a roller coaster where it's like there's no build up and then it just shoots you straight down. That's
right.
I don't know if that's pleasant.
It's like if you were one of the guests in a park in Roller Coaster Tycoon and they remove the tracks and just immediately crash and blow up, basically with no build up.
Yeah.
That's go ahead.
Lars and TJ, I have a gag prepared, but I have to
Oh no.
Okay.
I'm sending a message for Mr. Reed to look at in our recording chat. Just, I guess, don't look at recording chat for a minute so you're surprised as to what the message is.
Okay.
Mr. Let's Read, are you down to do a very short little spooky horror reading?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, well,
Okay.
Lars might have
Is
been
this gonna
prepping
be
something too.
like is this gonna be vibe appropriate, by the way, guys?
Yeah, no. Like I took
Okay.
AI and I fed some prompts into there and it came up with something interesting.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Reed, I'll send it in chat. TJ Lars, don't read it. I want you to be surprised.
All right. Yeah, I
Go
looked away
ahead,
from
go ahead
the
and read
screen.
that. Okay.
All right,
Just
do your best.
that okay.
Yeah, make it super scary.
Okay. Maria had always been a skilled cook, known for her mouth-watering spaghetti. But one evening, as she prepared the dish for her family, she noticed the pasta wriggling on the cutting board. Before she could react, the spaghetti slithered across the counter, coiling around her wrist. In a panic, Maria tried to escape, but the spaghetti tightened its grip, pulling her towards the pot of boiling water. The kitchen echoed with her blood-curdling screams as she was dragged into a nightmarish abyss of pasta. The scalding hot water turned crimson as her screams fell, eternally silent.
That was
Holy
actually
shit.
not bad.
That was
Wow.
really good.
Yeah, that was actually an
Yeah.
interesting kind of like creepy pasta there too. It's not bad.
Literal
Yeah, that's
pasta.
not a bad.
Literal
that's why
pasta,
I did
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I made you a creepy pasta.
Yeah, that was great.
Wait, so this was AI that was not terribly written.
Yeah, the only
it was-
thing I added to it was the final line was the scalding hot water turned crimson, but the rest of it was AI.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay.
scary
job,
what
AI.
will come.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lars, did you have anything prepared? Because you're DMing me about it.
Oh, no, I don't have anything for him to read necessarily. I was
Okay.
gonna potentially have him read something else, but it's not. It's the vibe here. I think was appropriate for Spaghetto's read. If you got anything you want to toss at him, go for it though.
Yeah, no, I mean, like we were thinking of like having you just read like the absolute goofiest things with
Yeah.
your narration voice.
Okay. You know what? If you it'll only take a few seconds here. Let me go ahead and I'll put it in there.
Which one are you gonna
Also,
go with?
It's just
Joel, thank you for reading that. By the way, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, that was great.
okay. Here is the read real quick. This is a little bit shorter. Okay.
Oh no,
So just read this as naturally and normally as you can, okay?
no.
Let me
Like
see what.
spooky
Okay.
voice, or
Oh,
Okay.
okay. You're
Here
going
we-
with
yeah,
You're
yeah.
going with this one. Okay.
we can do Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing. Sorry, that's the. I do the
Yeah.
chill. We do. Don't
Point
read
is
it like
not-
that.
Don't do it like chills.
Okay.
Like try to read it as
sorry.
naturally.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me add the. Oh, I forgot to add the number. 1 second.
Okay.
There we
Okay,
go.
There we go.
Okay. Number 15. Burger King foot lettuce. The last thing you'd want in your Burger King burger is someone's foot fungus. But as it turns out, that might be what you get. A 4chaner uploaded a photo anonymously to the site showcasing his feet in a plastic bin of lettuce with a statement, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." Admittedly, he had shoes on.
I heard you break a little bit towards
Yeah.
the end, just a little bit.
We had a different one that we normally show to voice actors, but we thought it didn't fit the vibe of this episode because it was
Yeah.
too gross.
Yeah, I
Oh, it's all
called an
good.
audible for this one. Yeah.
So,
all right.
Joel, if the audience members listening want to find you, where can they do that?
Yeah, over on YouTube, Let's Read, and then on podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts, it's called the Let's Read Podcast.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
And TJ,
Good.
where can we listen to your music?
I post all of my new music whenever I can onto SoundCloud under just Tiege, like the way I have it on my Discord, TIEGE. I want to start uploading my stuff to YouTube. I've just been kind of lazy about it. So
Okay, get off your ass.
Don't
and
do
do
that.
before
Don't
the next
find 'em there.
episode. Lars,
Yeah.
if people want to find out more about you, where can they go?
They're already here. So if you're listening to this on audio or on video, you're already here, man. Just stick around while you're at it. Why don't you go ahead and hit the subscribe button? It really helps us, and you can always change your mind later. Or if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or one of the other many platforms, we have a lot of other episodes worth listening to, so I highly recommend going to check them out. If you give us a subscription, I'm sure we'll make it worth your while. Also, if you've been here for a while and you're wanting to get bonus content for the podcast and early release privileges, as well as a funny role on the Discord, a patron-only chat, and more, go to patreon.com/T1podcast, and you can get the goods today, starting at only $2 a month. Tell them we sent you, and we'll give you a shout out here on the server, and we'll get you set up. And I think that is going to do it, unless there's any final topics you guys wanted to get into.
I do.
Speaking of Patreon, I was going to say I currently have 13 videos that are up early on the Patreon. If you want to
Nice.
check out some extra content featuring myself and Lars, if you want to see the free versions of those videos, just go to youtube.com/spaghetto. Thank you.
It'll be out eventually, at
Yeah.
some point.
It's
So-
daily videos. You'll get it soon.
Eventually, yeah. Not early, though. Yeah, not early. Go ahead, TJ.
Earlier we were discussing like if there was any horror media that inspired you, but I actually wanted to get into more of whether you have experienced anything paranormal yourself in real life or anything kind of scary, like an actual like encounter that you might have had.
Yeah, there was a weird experience, and it was actually kind of recently. So it was, yeah, it's funny, and it's funny too because it's not crazy, but it happened on my live stream of all things, and I was kind of telling people because I had people working on my house, and they're banging around everywhere, whatever, and at one point they knocked over paint, like a sort of a pencil sketch painting. I don't know exactly what the medium is, but like it fell off one of my rooms, and and I hadn't noticed that it was fallen. And then I go in there and I see it laying on the ground, and it was this old thing I had gotten from some antique market that I had gotten with my roommates in the past just to decorate the place. But it's like a pencil / painting of an owl. And the reason I thought it was the paranormal, and actually the clip is on. I'm not exactly sure how you access clips on YouTube, but I made a clip and shared it to Twitter, and I can send it to you guys. But it was so strange. Like I forget exactly what led into it, but I was talking about it during my stream. Oh, because we were watching. Like I react to like scary videos and stuff at the end of the streams and stuff, and it's a good time. And but then at one point, you can kind of hear everything upstairs if somebody's moving around or whatever. And there's nobody. At the time there was nobody here with me when I was doing the live stream. And all of a sudden, you could hear like very distinctive like footsteps going across my like roof of the basement, and everyone in the stream was like, what was that? So that was, and then I had showed the painting to a friend of mine. I was like, do you think this painting has anything like weird associated with it? And they're like, yo bro, look at the bottom corner. And the bottom corner, there's like a signature that's like a kanji gate, I think it's called, which is like a Japanese, like they have them at like shrines, and it's like a spiritual gate of sorts. And they said just that in of itself, within like the realm of, esoteric symbolism or whatever, may to a degree kind of give access to spirits, to access to you, access to the realm of the living, whatever. And they said also it's pretty common, because I guess they're pretty versed in this or whatever. They said it's pretty common if people are like working in your house or like they're banging around, sometimes depending on how old the house is, it can kind of like stir up things that were otherwise like spirits of sorts that were like dormant within that, place. And and the reason now this is even creepier, was the reason I had brought it up or whatever, and the timing of it was so strange that you could hear the footsteps, was while I was like, I was cooking food upstairs in the kitchen, and I heard, and it was probably like close to sunset, like back in spring or something like that, or early spring. And I just like was belting out this like song that I was singing, to myself, no music going, nothing like that. And I was just like, just sometimes you'd be a goofball by yourself. And I let out this long note at the end to kind of like finish the song. And then all of a sudden I heard like a sort of like woo woo, like whistle. I can't really do it very well. Yeah, literally that noise, but like coming from, around the kitchen wall, like down my hallway or somewhere. And I was just like, it just makes you pause for a second, like holy shit, there's someone in my house right now,
Sorry, that was me, man. I just
yeah.
I was just scouting you out before the podcast
Prior,
to make sure you'd be a good guest.
Fair
I
enough.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Well, at least you know that, like, if something's going to kill you, it's at least an admirer that appreciates what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the
As
videos.
they wear my
I'm
face.
just like,
Oh,
Yeah.
so it goes from
Anyway.
paranormal to true crime in like 60 seconds flat.
Yeah. I mean, I've had
Yeah.
some weird messages too. Like, I remember during a live stream, like it was my birthday, like during my birthday live streams, I have a drink or two, get a little wild. And it was probably 2 years ago or something like that. I think I had gone off on a long rant about like astrology,
Yeah.
and not disrespect
as
towards
you
anybody,
should.
like
As you should.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Disrespectfully.
right. And it was just because there's so many people in my audience who are like love astrology and that kind of thing, and I was kind of just like picking on them, but also like
Yeah,
kind of going hard.
We had a guest a long time ago that was super into astrology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Okay.
it was. I don't think I was being too toxic, but I was a little
harmless.
drunk. Yeah, but then coincidentally, from that time on, I started getting like DMs over my Instagram, from like multiple accounts, like making accounts, and I swear to God, it was just like schizophrenic, like writing like walls of text all in capitals and stuff. And this lasted for like half a year of them just making a new account after I would block them or whatever. And it was just them saying that they were gonna like, cut my mom's head off and make me, drink the blood. Like they were, like just calling me all sorts of like racial slurs and that kind of thing. It was like, I don't know. It was insane. It was nuts. But it was just, but it was like everything under the sun, just in a long, like giant, terrible grammar, paragraph. And it was just, I don't know. You get a little, in many ways you think to yourself like, whatever, people are nuts. As you get more popular, you can expect negative attention. But I think the scary part to me was just that, like, no matter how much I would block them for like a long period of time, they were so consistent, you know what I mean? That I like kind of, it gives you a little bit of anxiety, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just a bit. There's something funny in that, by the way, that I noticed, which is that, just to kind of tie things off there, that it is almost comical that someone would send racial slurs towards you, considering they don't know what you look like.
Right. Yeah, well, that was the thing, is that they were saying
you sound white.
Yeah, right, or they would say all sorts of them. They would just cover every base. It's like, well, at least they got them all figured out.
Bingo.
There.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like the shotgun approach. Like, hopefully he's one of these.
You're this disembodied voice, so they wanted to cover all their bases to make sure. That like they wanted to make like just in case they got the wrong race, they covered everything.
Yeah.
And then I respond. I was like, hey, regarding that one word, that was very rude.
Yeah. By the way, I think we're getting to that point now, and I think we'll kind of wind things down here. But thank you very much, Joel, by the way, for coming on. I really appreciate you taking your time.
Absolutely. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Joel, I can't read.
You guys have any last words?
Teach me how?
My one friend always says that, like, or like somebody says to him, like, just read it, and they're like, well, that's what Joel's here for. I don't know how to read.
No, I can't read. Genuinely help. Please.
I'll send you a copy of Reading Rainbow on VHS. LeVar Barton.
There you go.
LeVar Barton will teach you how to read.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Real quick, in tandem with Joel's death threat story, I also got death threats from people over an anime visual novel.
Oh.
And they threatened to kill me and my dog.
Oh my gosh.
That was creepy.
Your little dog too.
Your little dog, yeah.
One of the people involved, like, they weren't sending me death threats, but they were like, kind of being stalker-esque. They found me in person at a college that I was going to hang out. And they didn't come over and say hi. They just took a picture of me and sent it to me late. They sent it to me later saying, hey, Spaghetto, I found you. You go to this address and hang out with this person. And I'm like, holy shit, that was really creepy. And then I was like, hey, can you not dox me and be chill and stuff? And then when I was at the college again, they came up to me and said, hi, nice to meet you. They shook my hand and I said, nice to meet you too. Do you want a picture or anything? They said, nope, this was good enough. And then I never saw them again. That's it.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Really creepy.
Yeah, you should you should submit that to my channel.
Yes, okay, bet. I'm typing right now. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. All right. That is terrifying. I mean, that's one fortunate thing is I haven't had those close encounter type scenarios, but man, that would be terrifying to see a picture of yourself and you're like, oh, they're in proximity.
Yeah. And I wasn't even looking at the camera.
Right. Man. Well, that's wild.
Thank you, Joel. You got any crazy, wild, out-of-pocket words before we end this and blow this popsicle stand?
Wubba lubba dub dub.
Fuck.
Now let me finish.
Okay guys, real quick confession. I'm the second shooter.